It's on like Donkey Kong. I'm here with a new friend, my new friend, Dave DeVoe. And I have to be honest, Dave, when I first was introduced to you, I thought it was DeVoe, like Bell Biv DeVoe. Is it DeVoe or DeVoe? How does it? What is it in that band?
It's Bell Biv DeVoe. It's DeVoe. Yeah.
So you are from that band. I thought that sounded familiar. The other thing that I thought of when you said Ray Donovan, man, dude, I was laughing so hard because you do kind of look like Ray Donovan.
Yep. Yeah, I get that sometimes.
Right. So here's the thing. So for everybody that's watching this today, this is going to be an epic show because I honestly don't know your story. And normally when I get on here, I've either been working with you as a client for years or whatever the case may be. But I genuinely don't know. All I know is you have more teams than anybody I've ever talked to. You had 7 teams that you had across the country. Is that correct?
Yes.
And so
in New Jersey, 7 in New Jersey.
7 in New Jersey. So that's first of all, that's incredible. And so I want to unpack that, just what you've done, because this isn't just about you moving over to eXp. I think you've done something incredible with your business that people can learn a lot from. Obviously, I think I understand why you moved to eXp, because the businesses that you have, all those teams, are actually going to be way more efficient to be ran at eXp, along with some other reasons I'm sure you have as well. Yeah. So why don't we start there, man? What's your story, man? I'm super impressed with what you've built. Why don't we talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So started as a single agent like everybody else, and I was in Hoboken, New Jersey, and built my business up. I was prospecting based from the get-go, worked with Mike Ferry right out the gate. So crushed the phones, built a business, and organically kind of built this team to service the business. I didn't really know too much about team building. And what happened was the brokerage I was at the time wanted me to be sharing with their new agents and their experienced agents a lot of my mindset training that I was doing, goal setting, mindset training. I studied NLP for 3 years under Matthew Ferry, and I found myself just kind of doing these training sessions for them. And then people just started coming up to me saying, "Hey, I want to be more of a part of this. How do I be on your team?" And I was like, "Just come on my team." And then, I found myself with about 13 people on my team, and really at that point started to build it out the right way, started to build out the right support, the right vision, the right goals and the right setup. And what happened was a lot of our sellers who were moving from that market were moving to these different pockets of markets in New Jersey and the suburbs. And I was familiar with those areas from my lending background and just from growing up in those areas. So naturally, I always wanted to be able to service the clients in those markets. So eventually we ended up making the move over to Keller Williams and plugged into their expansion model and just went. I went total full immersion into this, studied expansion for 8 months straight, flew all over the country, learning everything I could from these guys who were doing it and the mistakes they made. Right. And at that point, we had kind of like this forced expansion. I had an 18-month plan to build it out. And 1 month into that 18 months, I had these guys who were doing flips out in one of the areas I wanted to expand to. And they said, "Hey, we heard a lot about your marketing plan and the way you work. We want to work with you." They were doing about 30 houses a year. And we've got 7 houses that we want to list in 2 weeks. So I was kind of like, whoa, okay. So my 18-month plan became like a 2-week plan. And I went out and I found an agent to partner with and service the business in those areas. And, that agent was my first expansion partner. He's now the team leader of that expansion team. And what happened was that we did a couple of transactions, and I looked at it and said, my hub team at the time was doing about 100 transactions a year. And we did a couple, and I looked at it and said, all right, we generate leads. He generates leads. He does a deal. We do everything else, all the paperwork, all the support, everything, all the coaching, and then it closes, right? It was very simple and kind of like clean.
Right.
At that point, I was like, wow, like that works. Let's take this and point it over here. So we took our lead generation department, we got on the phones, we went into the different suburbs and just kind of mowed it down and, made a lot of noise, and it worked again. So I was like, all right, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go hire a sales director. to help me manage these, which is going to grow into a growth director, and, wrote out the vision, wrote out everything that I wanted to do. And I ended up finding that guy who is one of the keys to all of this. He's amazing. I can't wait for you to meet him, actually. His name is Sekou. He was the head recruiter and trainer at the brokerage I was at before, Keller Williams. I sat down with him and said, here's my vision, dude. And he just looked at me and was like, I'm in, let's go.
Right.
And we went fast and big. And so before you know it, we failed our asses off through the whole way through. And, building the plane while we were flying it,
right,
to a place where we really were able to get this operation ready to scale. So
right.
We have 7 teams here in New Jersey. We're ready to launch in Scottsdale. We really have actually been holding back. We've never recruited. We always used our training and our workshops as a way to find people who resonate with our story, resonate with our values, right? And get to know them through doing these trainings, these high-level trainings in our appointment academies. And it was always just an organic, natural thing that was like, hey, there's you, there's me, like this works. And then we take them through our hiring process, bring them in as an expansion partner. But we were never actually out recruiting, trying to find people to bring into the company. It was always that either we just found somebody and we're like, this person rocks. Like, let's see if this is a fit and see if we could help them build their business. And if we
right.
can't help them, we're not going to get into business with them.
Right. And that's such a great framework, right? For the how you make a decision if you're going to work with someone is if you can help them. That's a huge takeaway. Most people don't think that way, I think, but that says a lot about you. So okay. So tell me this. There's a lot of questions I have about how you expanded, because I mean, it for most people, I think they have a lot of challenges. So when you expanded into these markets, are you branding that agent as the brand, or is it the DeVoe group, or what is the brand as you extended into these other markets?
Right. It's whatever makes the most sense for their growth. One thing about me is that I'm always going to be about what's best for my agents. In fact, as we get into this, that is the main reason why we joined eXp, is because it was the only platform that was best for them. Everything else benefited me really well and them okay, right? So it's the DeVoe group, right? But we're building them as the brand and them as the business owner. It's not like a typical team where it's top down, all about me, all the listings go in my name, all of this. It's always about them, and I was purposeful about that. In fact, I was aware that I was running a big risk, that if I teach them everything and I pour everything that I possibly can into them for them to build their business and be the brand for their clients, that I'm at risk for them leaving, right? So then I had to make a decision, and my decision was that I'm fulfilled when I'm sticking to that. I'm in integrity when I'm sticking to that. Anytime I try to make it about me, I just don't feel good about it. And as a result, the environment and the culture doesn't grow. So then the second part of that was, all right, now we've got to build a culture, and we have to build a system and an operation, and we have to build growth opportunities, both passive income and for them to leverage out their business and own their own team if they want, so that even if we train them well enough so they could take this and go do their own thing, that's great. But they don't want to, because they could just do it with us, and there's no boundaries, there's no ceilings. They could really do anything they ever wanted to on their own and do it with us. And now with the eXp, they could do all of that and make way, way more money much faster.
That's awesome. So were these, Jersey's interesting. Obviously, I was just there a couple of weeks ago. It's very cold, by the way. When I was there, especially up north where you're at, it was like zero, very cold. But what I noticed about Jersey is it seems like there's so many cities. It's like one right after another, like the whole state. So I didn't really understand the geography as well as I do now. But it seems like there's just a ton of cities that are all 50,000, 30,000 people, or whatever the case may be. How far away were these expansion teams, and how did you how far away were they, I guess, as you're spread over Jersey? Yeah,
so they're close, man. They're all within 50 miles. In fact, one of our expansion teams is a half a mile away from our hub. And everybody was always like, why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just have one team? Well, number one, it's part of the model that's working for us. Number two, if that's a separate team, even though they're a half a mile away, it's another opportunity for an agent to grow into leadership, right? Which is what I love. It's another way for people to have growth opportunity and to build out this massive thing. So the fact that we're all very close right now, first of all, I could go anywhere if I need to. And if it's an issue, I can go there. And it was this ink blot model that we were building the foundation off of so that we can go wherever we want to go. And at this point, that's where we're at. And that's what we're going to do.
Right. So let's talk about that. So what, obviously, there's been a lot of teams, a lot of independents move into eXp. What was it that, when did you first hear about it? Let's start about that. So when did you first hear about it? And was that a long time ago? And then when did you recently, make the decision?
It was a couple of years ago. And, I got thrown onto a webinar, and they, in this particular case, they didn't talk much about what really resonates with me, which is productivity and selling real estate. Right. And, and honestly, at that time, I just wasn't open to it. It wasn't brought to me the right way. And I didn't see the opportunity because I was not aware of the need yet. And we could get into what that need is in a little bit. But, and then, look, people hit me up for the past 2-3 years. Like, hey, I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you about, I want to talk to you about whatever it is. And dude, I'm just like laser focused on what I want to do for my people. I'm like, no, I'm going here. This is where I'm going. And it wasn't until a few months ago that it was like, well, this is more alignment with what you want to do, dummy, like here. And it was a perfect timing thing where our needs lined up with what eXp can provide at the time. Right.
It's funny because, I think as entrepreneurs, we tend to, look at a lot of ideas, but once you get to a certain level of success, you become very clear on your vision and what you're trying to accomplish. And, you have to really kind of, remain open-minded to think that there might be a better way that you've never seen before, right? Like for us, it was the same thing. It was like, not joining in a brokerage. We're independent. We're building our own brand. We're scaling it across the country. Don't need you. Thanks, but no thanks. Like that was, and the first couple of times I looked at it, we didn't look at it. We just didn't look at it. And timing was part of the issue too, I think as well. But like once you really, open-minded and then you look at it, it's just like, well, this is exactly what I needed, right? Like this is perfect for what I'm trying to accomplish. So it definitely does align. I get where you're coming from there. So recently you looked at it again. What was, were there some challenges that you're running into in your business as far as the expansion side of things? What was it that maybe made you more open-minded now than that you hadn't, looked at it before?
Yeah, there were challenges and there were speed bumps. So when you're dealing with 7 different franchises, right, that all own the franchise independently, that all have different mindsets, that all have different levels of knowledge of what expansion is. They have different compensation models. They have different sets of rules and restrictions. It's really hard for us to scale and just do what we know works and follow this system when there is this speed bump over here, then this speed bump over here. And we were spending so much time navigating through all of that it was a challenge to deal with so many different personalities. Some of them were just scared to death of us, didn't understand what expansion actually was and that we were going to help them. Others that really did get it and did support us. But it was difficult for my ops team. It was difficult for the agents to just let us go and do what we're going to do, right? Like we're here to help. We're here to build the market. We're here to train. We're here to build culture. And, above and beyond that, financially, it was a huge challenge for us because, you have these agents. I was listening to Ryan Tollefson earlier with Dan Beer, and it was a very similar plight that we had in that we've got our own thing, man. Like we have our own systems, our own training, our own coaching, our own lead gen. Everything that we have is built out by us. It's not part of anything else. And so the challenge was that our agents are paying for the value that we're giving to them, right? In terms of split. Then they're splitting it and giving 30% to a brokerage to pay that brokerage's expenses that have absolutely nothing to do with them and never could. So the value wasn't lining up, and it was too expensive. And the second thing is that, we were part of a profit share piece that really can never work for these guys as they're in production because there's just too many expenses. Things are split too many ways for the agents on my team to be able to make money. And what I know is whether it's a little bit of money or a lot of money in the short term and in the medium and long term, when these agents have more money in their pocket, they're happier, they're less stressed. And a byproduct of that is that they do more business, that their clients can feel that energy, and all of the mindset coaching and the production coaching that we do takes root when they have money in their pocket, right? So money is a huge piece of this. And the profit share piece, I could go into too in a little bit, but those were some of the main reasons. It was the lack of culture. We have our own culture. It was the lack of value, and just the fact that could never line up unless a market center or a brokerage walked in and put a deal on our a closed deal in our pocket every single week, which is never going to happen. There's no way they could ever bring the value that we need to substantiate what we're paying for.
Right. So yeah, so that's so if I hear you correctly, the challenges, and expansion from your perspective had a lot to do with each individual office and whether they were on board with it or not, and different deals, because they weren't all the same, created even more challenges. And you trying to streamline the process of helping those agents become more successful. Is that basically one of the bigger challenges there?
Yeah, and the money, because we built this operation out for production, and it's like, we're paying hundreds of thousands of dollars to support rents, salaries, bonuses, lunches, dinners, all this other stuff that really absolutely has nothing to do with us, because we're doing our own thing. So this is a superior model for sure.
Right. So one of the things that even after, like, sometimes after the first conversation or second conversation I have with folks that are looking at this model, they haven't quite got to the do the math part of it, and they haven't, they have some kind of a feeling that this is going to be more costly than where they're at, even if they're at a Keller Williams or even independent. Which in some cases, if you're independent, there is more cost structure. I think the long term, if you look at all the opportunities here, there's a very small cash flow difference from going to independent into eXp. But how much money, just right out of the gate, not looking at opportunity, the stock and the revenue share and all that, but like, how much money did you save just moving over to eXp?
How much did we save?
How much if you know the number, maybe you don't have it right in front of you. Like, was there a savings that you were saving by moving over to eXp with your 7 teams? And if so, about how much did it look like that was going to save in moving over to eXp?
For sure. But honestly, it's been one day. So, right. Yeah. But obviously, on lead generation, on CRMs, on all of the systems that we can now just plug into, we're saving. But dude, I'm going to go back to this. Like, I care about my agents more than I care about myself. I care about them and my leaders more than I care about myself. So their savings and their upside is what I'm looking at. I'm going to be fine, right? My cap goes from $45,000 to $16,000. That pays for a lot of my rent for the year for our team. But looking at an agent who's doing their thing, right? And we're illustrating all the value that we're giving to them, and then they're paying $20,000 to the market center, right? Now it's drastically reduced. We're part of a mega icon team, so it's drastically reduced. So it's coming in the door. It's a couple $100,000. Two of my agents capped today. Day one. I didn't expect
day one.
They took 2 listings and they're capped. It's like. So it's just a no-brainer, and in terms of like the fees and the expenses and everything, like, no, we're saving money definitely from an operational standpoint, but from a growth standpoint and from the cap structure standpoint, it's a no-brainer. So it's kind of confusing how people don't get that, but some people get bogged down in the numbers. But come on, dude.
Yeah, it's not hard to see. That's been my experience is exactly what you said. Day one, you move over and you're saving a ton of money. And your agents are saving a ton of money. So that's awesome. So what are you most excited about? Like, what's, obviously now you pretty much, unlocked the opportunity to scale your business model now across the country. What changes, or what are you, what's the vision for what you're doing here?
I'm most excited about the productivity of my agents and how much more money they're making today versus yesterday. That is the number one thing that I'm most excited about. Right. And What goes along with that, dude, is that, you and I hung out, we had some sushi, right? And we hadn't met before. And Dan said this earlier, is like, now everybody on my team has access to ballers who are there to give them support in any way that they want. The training that comes with eXp is a huge benefit for agents, whether they're a single agent or a part of a team, right? Because here, I'll put it this way, right? I know who my sponsor is at KW in Profit Share. His name is Mark. He's been a good friend of mine for a long time, right? He's in Orlando, great business, sells 100 homes a year. And I don't know who his sponsor is, right? Because that guy or girl never called me. They never had a reason to call me because I'm worth like $14 a year to them. Yet I'm here one day. And 2 months ago, I already knew everybody in my upline because they're calling me every day. They want to set up trainings for my team. They want to mastermind. They want to grow. There's a financial alignment there that you cannot get anywhere else through this company and through the revenue share. So the other part is this, like they now have the opportunity to create real residual income. My agents have the opportunity to build and grow and mastermind with high-level thinkers that they didn't have access to before. What goes deeper than that is like, if I were to take, I was the #1 profit sharing agent in my market center last year, right? Our team won all the production awards, and we weren't surprised like that. We're a big team. We were not surprised. We knew we were going to crush all of that. But I was surprised that I was the #1 profit sharing agent in the company because I made like 35 grand in profit share last year, which to a lot of people, that's a lot of money. But I was #1. What's happening, right? And when I take that same profit share tree and plug it into something like a revenue share tree, right? It goes to like $600,000.
Right.
So now these agents have now they have an opportunity to actually grow and network and be around people who are way better than them so that they can grow, and they're financially aligned to do so. And they've got me, they've got you, they've got Dan, they've got Tammy, they've got Kyle, who are going to help them build it all. Like, it's ridiculous.
It truly is one of the most amazing things that I've ever seen. I mean, and you're saying it, I've been saying it, and everybody at eXp obviously gets it, is saying it. Like, if you're watching this and you haven't quite figured out what that means to be business partners with that kind of a group of people that are focused on just helping people, period. Like, I mean, we all have the same mindset of wanting to give back and help. And now we're financially aligned as business partners to help you grow your business and grow personally. It's like nothing I've ever experienced. I'm having the most fun I've ever had. This has been the most amazing ride. This is the most amazing people. I'm getting to meet new people that are rock stars like yourself every day. It's just a lot more fun, man. There's a better way, and this is definitely it.
And the culture that comes along with that culture of sharing is massive. It's massive. Like, it's so important too. And it's really important for my agents because they understand now that if they wanted to learn exactly how to farm and look at Dan Beer farming 32,000 homes a month, just let's go. Like, let's get online and do it. Any training that they want that's happening across the country in eXp world, they have access to, instead of having to find a market center that's near them and go to that training and hope that there's quality there. Like, we've got access to grow that. The training was one of the things that surprised me on how powerful it actually is.
Right. Yeah. Having access to training, it's funny, my success has been based on, finding people above me and getting sucked up to the top, really. And you can be as successful as you want to be. And I think, people that have reached levels of success all realize this. It's all about the people you surround yourself with. And, in this company, they've actually financially aligned us to want to help you, which, when time is the most important thing, which you get to a point where time is the most important thing. You can't get access to Dan Beer and him share his best kept secrets on farming in a neighborhood. But I guarantee you this, if you do exactly what Dan Beer does, you will get the same results that Dan Beer gets. And so, seeing him break down that entire model and sharing exactly how he's doing it, I know what the value of that is, right? Like, I've been a good copycatter my whole life. be as successful as you want to be, but if you get aligned with the right people that have an alignment, and it's not pay, you don't have to pay us. We're not going to ask you for your credit card. But when you join us at this company, we become your business partner, and we can help you make all your dreams come true. That's just the reality. We've done it successfully. We know how to help you accomplish your goals. We know how to remove those obstacles. It's just it's a blast, man. This is the most fun I've had ever, man. So what's obviously day one, there's probably nothing yet, but is there anything that is not what you expected or different than you expected since you've been one day at eXp, or is there anything that has been a surprise so far?
Not really. I mean, the biggest surprise over the past couple of weeks is the culture and the sharing, and just what we were just talking about is like, I've got a good friend, Brett Sikora, right, who came over. His group came over with us, and Brett and I are good friends. We do a lot of investing together, right? And we were competitors. We're both in Hoboken, and we were competing directly. And although we're friends, I never really had that financial alignment, even though he was in my profit share down line, like to really be like, dude, what could we do together, right? And now we're hanging out every day. What do you need? Here, our admins are doing this. His admin is in shadowing my ops team right now, right? And we have 3 other teams, right? I can't mention them right now. Same thing. What do you guys need? Come on into our hub. Whatever it is you need, we'll break it down for you. You could shadow us. You could shadow our lead gen director, anything that you want to do. And we're competitors. We're in the same market, right? It's amazing.
It's like that's so far from like reality of what in every other business model there is. You would never do it. It is the crazy thing is that even though you're competing with them, or you look at they are a competitor, honestly, in your marketplace. This business model just instantly changes the way you think about things. Like you're a giver to everyone else on the planet that you can help. You're right. That's just who you are as a human being. But yet your competition was never any way that you could think about being aligned to them. And yet now, boom, just like that, you're opening up the playbook to somebody that you could be sitting across a listing appointment, competing with it tomorrow. And that just is if that doesn't tell you about the culture here, then you're not paying attention, because that is fascinating.
Honestly, culture could grow. But to think that we're all going to go flying off into the clouds together, like blissed out on just culture, it's very rare that happens. When you have the financial alignment, it really checks a lot of boxes. Contribution, the financial boxes checked, sharing, everything. We had a couple of groups that came to us recently that were like, we're having issues growing. We're at 30 million, we're at 35 million, and how the hell are we going to possibly get there? We want to talk to you about merging as expansion partners, right? And now I'm like, whoa, let's wait a minute, because if you're joining Elevate Dominate, which is our group here with eXp, right? If you're going to be a part of us, then we're probably going to be able to help you with that anyway. We don't necessarily have to merge and charge you for that. We're going to do it for free. So that was another thing that was really powerful for me, because it is contribution, but it's also financial alignment, which I think will get us all flying off blissed out into the clouds.
Yep. So I went ahead and typed this up, elevatedominate.com. Is that right?
Elevatedominate.com. So this is an event that we're doing Friday that, dude, we were like, all right, let's create an event where we can actually do a panel of all these team owners, right? Some that have announced already, some that are going to be, and actually like do a Q&A and let them peek under the hood of our systems and why this made sense for us. A lot of what I've been sharing here, but just from a bunch of other different people. Right. And we figured we'd get like 15, 20 people. We already have 115 people signed up to come to that event in just 2 days, which, it just tells me that there is a need out there, right? There's a problem, and we know that this is the solution. And now it's just evident, right? Because everybody that we talk to is running into very similar issues. And it's so exciting now to be able to say, well, look, here's the solution. And we've vetted this for like 3 months. We've been talking to you guys and everything. Right. ElevateDominate.com goes to the Eventbrite page. That's going to allow you to be a part of that. We're going to do another one in another location in New Jersey next week. We're going to do another one the week after on the 16th in Central Jersey. We're going to be doing we're learning from you guys, and we're going to be doing Wealth Building Wednesdays We're going to be doing trainings in all of our different markets where it's like, here, come, we're going to show you our listing presentation. We're going to show you how to crush expires. We're going to show you how to crush lead follow-up or build a lead generation team. We're going to go off of production because that's what this is all about. It's about selling homes. It's not just about network marketing and recruiting. We want to keep it about how do we help you sell more homes, right? If this opportunity fits you, that's great. But we want to keep we're giving everything away at this point. So come get it.
I love it, man. So that's a huge value. And again, I think, what you're, the reason that people are going to show up is because they want to sell more houses. I mean, that's if you want to sell more houses, then you need to show up because this is the best place that you can go to learn for someone who's selling more houses. And so, yeah, I love that, man. So, and again, that's part of the cool thing about, eXp is like the people that we're attracting are people that are just like us that want to sell, they want to crush it. They want to kill it. And so, we're only attracting the people that want to be at the top. And those are the kind of people I like to hang out with anyway. So that's always good. So cool, man. So, man, I'm super excited for you, man. I'm excited to be partners with you. I'm excited to be, be able to add value to any way possible, and anybody that you bring on as well. So, what's any last points you'd want to make, or any last thoughts you'd want to give somebody who maybe hasn't pulled the trigger or is thinking about maybe coming to eXp?
One thing that I've learned in my life is that if you're focused on opportunity, you're going to recognize opportunity and you're going to be clear on what the opportunity is, right? Mm-hmm. And the more noise and gossip and negativity that you allow into your cerebellum, the more opportunities are going to fly right by you, and I'm going to grab them, right? So the biggest thing here is when you see an opportunity, take it, right? Focus on what's real. Focus on what is working. If you're not somebody who's looking to necessarily crush it, like you said before, this is still an amazing opportunity for you because of the compensation model, because of the training, because of the alignment. This thing is not stopping. And I know that. And I that's why I'm like, I'm not waiting. Like, I see the opportunity. I'm going to go now. So that would be my advice, is like, if you're somebody who's done that in the past, keep doing it. If you're somebody who hasn't done that in the past, reach out to us and we'll help you get clarity on why this is the best decision for you. Right.
100%. That's a great statement. I love that. So yeah, reach out. Definitely reach out today. What's the best way for people to reach out to you?
ElevateDominate.com. If you're in the area, I know we got people flying in from other parts of the country too. If you're not going to be there, you can email me. Just send me an email at david@homesbydevoe.com, or you can message me on Facebook or Instagram, and we will definitely get back to you and see any way that we could possibly help you.
Right on, man. It's been a pleasure, my friend. This is awesome, man. I almost don't want to end the live. I'm having so much fun. So looking forward to how I can help you next, man. I'll see you at one of the next masterminds, I'm sure. Definitely plug in and make sure you're coming to some of the fun events. We've got the Kentucky Derby coming up. It's going to be one that we're doing a mastermind at, so we'd love to see you there. Man, if anything I can do, man, let me know. And happy to have you on board. And everybody, you should be reaching out to this man and asking him questions if you're thinking about it. He definitely can help you.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate you having me on. You're awesome. Thank you.
Hey, have a great day, buddy.
All right, you too. Later.